instead of doing it graphically by hand, you could also create a plot in Python that is exactly the same information as I sketched out. So let's have a quick look at some code so you can see how you could do this yourself. First, subject is what linear algebra is, and our dependencies are NumPy, the numeric library of Python, and Matplotlib. So we're going to start off simulating our time. We know we need time to start at 0. Then we already know from the preceding video where we worked through the solution and determined that the bank robber would be caught by the sheriff after 30 minutes. So I set a 40-minute cap for our line that we're going to be plotting out. So we're starting at 0 minutes all the way through to 40 minutes, and then we can have as many points as we'd like between our start point and our end point. I'm electing to use 1,000 points, which is more than enough detail for our simple line in this simple plot. So we use this linspace method to create this variable t, which consists of 1,000 points ranging from 0 to 40. Now we can pass that t value, the time value, into our two functions. So remember from the last video on what linear algebra is, that the function for the distance traveled by the robber is simply d equals 2.5 times time. And so we can very simply take our time variable and multiply that by 2.5 times d, and that gives us the distance traveled by the robber over time. To get the distance traveled by the sheriff, the function is d is equal to 3 times t minus 5. So again, we just replicate that function here in Python code. Now that we have both of our distances for both the robber and the sheriff, we can plot it. So we start off by simply creating a matplotlib plot. We add a title. I chose to call it a bank robber caught. And then our x-axis label, time in minutes, our y-axis label, distance in kilometers. And then we set boundaries on exactly the range that we would like to plot over. So we know that we want to start at a time of 0 and a distance of 0. That's my starting point on both the x and the y-axis. And because I already know the solutions, that the sheriff catches the bank robber after 30 minutes, have my x limit set to 40, and then along the y-axis, I know that the sheriff is going to catch the bank robber at the 75-kilometer mark. And so just going a little bit beyond that to create a nice pretty chart, I have 100 kilometers. So the bank robber is in green, the sheriff is in brown. Then finally, the last piece is to add these purple hatched lines. So they're hatched because we select this line style. We're saying here that I want a vertical line at that 30-minute mark where x is equal to 30 in the color purple, and then a horizontal line, h line, 75-kilometer mark, also in purple and also hatched. So there you go. That gives you a way to create in Python a nice, neat version of the same chart that I hand sketched on my iPad.